Admiral Zethron stood on the bridge of his flagship, watching the busy traffic lanes of the HFY system. Hundreds of ships moved through the space lanes like a river of lights. Merchant vessels carried goods between the planets, while patrol ships kept watch for pirates. Everything was normal, just like any other day in the Empire. The HFY system was one of the most important trade hubs in the galaxy. Ships from dozens of different species came here to buy and sell goods. The Empire had controlled this system for over 300 years. Nothing ever happened here that surprised anyone. Zethron's four eyes scanned the display screens, showing ship movements. His species, the HFY, had excellent vision and could track multiple objects at once. He prided himself on knowing every ship that entered his space. Today looked like another quiet day of routine patrols. Admiral called his communications officer. "We have an unknown contact." Zethron turned his large head toward the officer. "Unknown? Did they not transmit identification codes?" "Sir, they just appeared. No jump gate activation, no warp signature. The ship just showed up on our SI sensors 3 seconds ago. This was impossible. Every ship in the galaxy used either jump gates or warp drives to travel between systems. Both methods created energy signatures that could be detected from light years away. No ship could just appear without warning." "Show me," Zethron commanded. The main display screen changed to show a three-dimensional image of the new ship. It was unlike anything Zethron had ever seen. The vessel was sleek and dark, about the size of a heavy cruiser. Its hull had strange angles that seemed to bend light around them. No visible weapons could be seen, but that meant nothing. Many ships hid their armaments. "Computer, identify vessel type and origin," Zethron ordered. Unable to identify vessel type. Hull configuration does not match any known design in Imperial databases. Origin unknown. Zethron felt his stomach tighten. In his 40 years of military service, he had never encountered a ship that the computer could not identify. Every species in the galaxy was cataloged in Imperial records. Communications, hail the vessel. Demand identification. The communications officer worked at his console for several minutes. "Sir, they are not responding to any of our standard frequencies. I have tried every known communication protocol." "Weapons. What can you tell me about their armaments?" The weapons officer studied his screens carefully. "Sir, our scanners cannot penetrate their hull. We detect no weapon signatures, but we also cannot scan their internal structure." This was getting worse by the minute. Imperial scanners could see through the hulls of every known ship design. They had been perfected over centuries of warfare and exploration. "Admiral," the sensor officer called out, "I am reading massive energy signatures from the unknown vessel, but I cannot identify the source. The readings are unlike anything in our databases." Zethron made a quick decision. "Alert all ships in the system. Form defensive formation around the unknown vessel. Do not fire unless fired upon, but be ready." Within minutes, 12 Imperial warships surrounded the strange vessel. Each ship was armed with plasma cannons and quantum torpedoes that could destroy most ships with a few hits. The unknown vessel remained motionless, showing no signs of fear or aggression. Commander Jake Morrison stood on the bridge of the UES Defiance, watching the alien ships take positions around them. He was a tall man with gray hair and calm blue eyes. He had been preparing for this moment his entire career. "Amy, are you recording everything?" he asked his communications officer. Lieutenant Amy Parker nodded from her station. "Yes, sir. All alien communications and movements are being recorded. Dr. Hayes is analyzing their language patterns now." "Good. Ryan, how are our systems holding up?" Chief Engineer Ryan Bell checked his displays. "All systems green, Captain. The adaptive camouflage is working perfectly. Their scanners cannot see through our hull or detect our true capabilities." Morrison nodded. Earth had spent 50 years developing technology specifically designed to deal with this situation. They had studied every piece of alien technology that had crashed on Earth or been left behind by alien visitors. Human scientists had learned to reverse engineer and improve upon alien designs. "Sir," Amy called out, "I am receiving multiple hail attempts from the lead alien vessel. They seem to be demanding identification." "Not yet. Morrison replied. Let them wonder for a while longer. We need to gather more information about their capabilities and intentions. On the alien flagship, Admiral Zethron was growing frustrated. The unknown vessel had been sitting silently for 20 minutes. It showed no signs of aggression, but it also refused to communicate. Trade Minister Veltar is requesting an immediate briefing, his communications officer reported. Zethron sighed. Veltar was the senior Imperial official in this system, and he would want answers that Zethron did not have. Tell him I will brief him in 1 hour. We need more information first. Sir, the sensor officer called out urgently. The unknown vessel is moving. All eyes turned to the main screen. The strange ship was slowly rotating, presenting different angles to the Imperial sensors. It moved with a grace that seemed impossible. For something so large. Are they scanning us? Zethron asked. Unknown, sir. We cannot detect any scanning beams or sensor activity from the vessel. Morrison watched the alien ships on his own screens. Each one was exactly where Earth intelligence had predicted they would be. Humanity had been observing galactic civilization for decades, learning their tactics and procedures. Amy, have you made any progress on their language? Dr. Hayes says. She has identified several basic communication protocols. She believes she can establish basic contact within the next few hours. Excellent. Ryan, are you ready to demonstrate our defensive capabilities if needed? Ready when you are, Captain. Our shield generators are at full power and our evasion systems are online. Morrison smiled slightly. The aliens had no idea what they were dealing with. Humanity had not been idle during their years of isolation. While the galactic empires fought each other with weapons that were centuries old, humans had been developing entirely new approaches to space travel and warfare. The UES Defiance was not just a ship. It was a statement. It announced to the galaxy that humanity was ready to take its place among the stars, but on human terms. Admiral Zethron stared at the unknown vessel and felt a chill run through his body. Something was about to change in the galaxy, and he was not sure the Empire was ready for it. Dr. Lisa Hayes worked quickly at her computer station aboard the UES Defiance. Lines of alien text scrolled across her screen as she analyzed the communication signals from the Imperial ships. She had studied alien languages for 20 years, but this was her first chance to work with live transmissions. Captain Morrison, she called out. I think I have figured out their basic language structure. Give me another hour and I can translate their communications. Morrison nodded and walked over to her station. What have you learned so far? Their language uses a complex system of tone and rhythm. Each word can have 3 different meanings depending on how it is spoken. But I have identified their military communication codes. They are much simpler than their normal speech. On the bridge of the Imperial flagship, Admiral Zethron watched his sensor displays with growing concern. The unknown vessel had been scanning his ships for over an hour, but his own scanners could not penetrate its hull. Sir, his science officer reported, I have analyzed the energy readings from the alien ship. The patterns are completely unknown. They are using some kind of technology that our computers cannot identify. Trade Minister Veltar entered the bridge with 4 armed guards. He was a tall, thin creature with pale blue skin and large black eyes. His species, the Vellani, were known for their diplomatic skills and their bad tempers when things did not go their way. Admiral, Veltar said in a sharp voice, I demand to know why there is an unknown warship in my system. This is disrupting trade and making my merchants nervous. Zethron turned to face the trade minister. Sir, we are dealing with a completely unknown situation. This vessel appeared without any warning and does not match any known ship design. Then destroy it, Veltar snapped. I do not care where it came from. I want it gone. Sir, that might not be wise. We do not know what weapons it carries or what its intentions are. It has not shown any hostile actions. Veltar's black eyes grew darker. It is in Imperial space without permission. That is hostile enough for me. Captain Troy Adams stood in the Marine ready room aboard the Defiance, checking his equipment. One final time. He was a large man with broad shoulders and steady hands. His team of 20 Marines were the best soldiers Earth had to offer. Listen up. he told his men. We might need to board an alien ship today. Remember your training. These aliens have never seen humans before. They do not know what we are capable of. Use that advantage. His sergeant, a tough woman named Claire Foster, raised her hand. Sir, do we know anything about their biology? How do we fight something we have never seen? Adams smiled. Earth intelligence has been studying these aliens for 50 years. We know their strengths and weaknesses. Most of them are physically weaker than humans. Their reflexes are slower, but they have better technology, so stay alert. Back on the bridge, Dr. Hayes finally looked up from her computer. Captain, I have broken their communication codes. I can now understand and speak their military language. Morrison felt a surge of excitement. This was the moment humanity had been preparing for. Excellent work, Doctor. Open a channel to the lead alien ship. Amy Parker worked at her communication station. Channel open, sir. Morrison took a deep breath and spoke clearly. Imperial vessel. This is Commander Jake Morrison of the Earth ship Defiance. We request immediate diplomatic contact with your senior officer. On the Imperial bridge, every alien froze in shock. The unknown ship had just spoken to them in perfect Imperial standard military protocol. The voice was strange, coming from a creature they had never heard before, but the words were exactly correct. Admiral Zethran stared at his communication officer. Did that alien just speak our language? Yes, sir. Perfect pronunciation and grammar. But, sir, how is that possible? We have never encountered this species before. Trade Minister Veltar pushed forward. Answer them, Admiral. I want to know what they want. Zethran activated his communication system. Unknown vessel, this is Admiral Zethran of the Imperial Fourth Fleet. You are in Imperial space without authorization. State your purpose and origin immediately. Morrison listened to the alien response, then looked at Dr. Hayes. She nodded and whispered the translation in his ear. Admiral Zethran, Morrison replied. We are representatives of the planet Earth and the human species. We have come to establish diplomatic relations with the Galactic Empire. We request a formal meeting with your senior diplomatic officials. Veltar grabbed Zethran's arm. Earth, humans, these terms are not in any Imperial database. Where did this species come from? Zethran spoke into his communicator again. Commander Morrison, our records show no planet called Earth and no species called humans. Please explain your origin. Morrison smiled. This was the moment he had been waiting for. Admiral, humans have been observing galactic civilization for many decades. We have been learning about your technologies, your languages, and your customs. We chose to remain hidden until we were ready for contact. The bridge of the Imperial flagship fell silent. Every alien stared at the communication, console in disbelief. Observing us, Zethran finally asked him, for how long? 53 years, 7 months, and 12 days. Morrison replied calmly. We have detailed records of Imperial activities in this sector. We know about your trade routes, your military procedures, and your diplomatic protocols. Veltar's pale blue skin turned almost white. That is impossible. Our security systems would have detected any unknown observers. Respectfully, Minister Veltar, your security systems are designed to detect known galactic technologies. Human technology operates on different principles. The fact that the human knew Veltar's name and title sent a chill through every alien on the bridge. How much did these humans really know? Professor Kevin Stone worked at his science station aboard the Defiance, monitoring the alien ships around them. As Earth's leading expert on alien technology, he could identify every weapon and system on the Imperial vessels. Captain, he reported, the aliens are powering up their weapon systems. Nothing serious yet, just basic defensive preparations. Morrison nodded. Are our defensive systems ready? All systems are green, sir. Their weapons cannot penetrate. Our adaptive armor and our evasion systems can handle anything they might throw at us. Admiral Zethran received an urgent message from Imperial Command. The High Council had been informed of the situation and was sending Councillor Merdon to handle the negotiations. Until then, Zethran was ordered to contain the situation without starting a war. Commander Morrison, Zethran said, my government is sending a senior official to meet with you. Will you wait for his arrival? Of course, Admiral. Humans are patient. We have been waiting for this day for over 50 years. We can wait a few more hours. Morrison cut the communication and turned to his crew. The first phase of contact was complete. Now humanity would begin to show the galaxy what they were truly capable of. The aliens thought they were dealing with a single ship from an unknown species. They had no idea that Earth had been preparing for this moment since the first alien probe had crashed in the Nevada desert in 1972. Counselor Merdan arrived at the HFY system 4 hours later in his personal diplomatic cruiser. He was an elderly member of the HFY species, with wrinkled gray skin and 6 long arms that moved gracefully as he spoke. Merdan had handled first contact situations before, but never anything like this. Admiral Zethran, Merdan said as he stepped onto the flagship's bridge, brief me on this situation immediately. Zethran gestured toward the main display screen showing the human ship. Counselor, we are dealing with a species that calls themselves humans from a planet called Earth. They claim to have been observing us for over 50 years without our knowledge. Merdan studied the strange vessel with his large yellow eyes. Have you tested their defensive capabilities? Not yet, sir. They have shown no hostile actions, and I did not want to start a war without orders. Good thinking, Admiral. But we need to know what we are dealing with. Order one of your ships to perform a standard intimidation maneuver. Nothing aggressive, just a show of force. Zethran nodded and gave orders to his escort frigate. The small warship moved toward the human vessel, powering up its weapons as it approached. This was a common tactic used to pressure unknown ships into surrendering. On the Defiance, Professor Kevin Stone watched the approaching alien ship with interest. Captain, one of their escort vessels is moving toward us. Weapons are charged, but not locked on target. Commander Morrison smiled. Perfect, this gives us a chance to demonstrate our capabilities. Ryan, prepare for evasive maneuvers. Chief Engineer Ryan Bell worked at his control panel. Adaptive maneuvering system is online, Captain. Ready when you are. The alien frigate moved closer, expecting the human ship to either flee or surrender. Instead, the Defiance began to move in a way that made no sense to the alien observers. What is that ship doing? Counselor Merdan asked as he watched the display. The human vessel was moving through space without using any visible engines. It slipped sideways, then spun in place, then moved backward without turning around. The movements were smooth and silent, like a dancer performing in zero gravity. Sir, the sensor officer reported with confusion in his voice. I cannot detect any engine signatures from the human ship. It is moving without any propulsion system that our scanners can identify. Admiral Zethran felt his stomach drop. Every ship in the galaxy used either fusion drives or antimatter engines. Both systems created massive energy signatures that could be detected from thousands of kilometers away. The alien frigate tried to follow the human ship's movements but could not keep up. The Defiance moved like a fish through water while the Imperial ship moved like a rock trying to fly. Order the frigate to return to formation, Merdan commanded. We have learned what we needed to know. Professor Stone turned to Morrison with excitement in his eyes. Captain, their scanning attempts are becoming more aggressive. They are trying to penetrate our hull with deep-range sensors. Let them try, Morrison replied. Our adaptive armor should handle anything they can throw at us. The Imperial ships focused all their scanning power on the human vessel. Energy beams that could see through solid steel struck the Defiance's hull and simply disappeared. Imperial Science Director Kolnin arrived on the flagship bridge carrying a portable scanner. She was a small creature with blue fur and large ears that could hear sounds across multiple frequencies. Counselor, she said in a high-pitched voice, I have been analyzing the scan results. This ship's hull is composed of materials that do not exist in our periodic table. The energy patterns suggest technology that operates on completely unknown principles. Merdan's yellow eyes grew wider. Unknown materials? That is impossible. We have cataloged every element in the galaxy. Sir, I believe these humans have developed technology that we cannot understand with our current science. Master Sergeant Claire Foster stood in the Defiance's security office, watching the alien ships through the external cameras. She was responsible for protecting the ship from any boarding attempts. Captain, She called Morrison on the intercom. "The aliens are positioning their ships for a possible boarding action. Should I prepare the defense teams?" Morrison's voice came back calm and steady. "Not yet, Sergeant. Let them make the first move. We want them to understand that we are not afraid of them." Two Imperial boarding ships moved toward the Defiance. They were small, fast vessels designed to attach to enemy ships and cut through their hulls. "Sir," Amy Parker reported, "the aliens are attempting to dock with our ship." Morrison activated the ship's external communication system. "Admiral Zethron, please order your boarding craft to return to their ships. Any attempt to board our vessel will be considered an act of war." Zethron hesitated. The humans had been peaceful so far, but their tone was now much firmer. "Counselor," he asked Myrdan, "what are your orders?" Myrdan thought for a moment. "Tell them we need to inspect their ship for security purposes. Standard Imperial protocol." Morrison listened to the alien response and shook his head. "Admiral, no alien will board this ship without invitation. We are here for peaceful contact, but we will defend ourselves if necessary." "And how exactly will you defend yourself?" Myrdan asked through the communication system. "You are one ship against 12. Professor Stone looked up from his science station. "Captain, should I give them a demonstration?" Morrison nodded. "Do it." Stone activated the Defiance's defensive systems. Suddenly, the human ship seemed to split into 3 identical vessels on every Imperial scanner. "What just happened?" Counselor Myrdan demanded. Science Director Colnan stared at her instruments in disbelief. "Sir, either they have 2 more ships hidden somewhere, or they have created false images that our sensors cannot distinguish from the real ship." The 3 images of the Defiance began moving in different directions. Imperial weapon systems tried to lock onto the real ship, but could not determine which image was genuine. "This is some kind of holographic technology," Colnan explained. "But it is far beyond anything we have developed. Our best holograms can fool the eye, but not our sensors." Morrison opened the communication channel again. "Admiral, as you can see, human defensive technology is quite advanced. We suggest continuing our discussion through diplomatic channels rather than military ones." The 3 images of the Defiance suddenly merged back into one ship. The Imperial crews rubbed their eyes and checked their instruments, trying to understand what they had just witnessed. Counselor Myrdan realized that the situation had changed completely. These humans were not helpless aliens asking for protection. They were a technologically advanced species that could potentially challenge Imperial supremacy. "Admiral," he said quietly, "order all ships to defensive positions only. No more aggressive maneuvers." Zethran gave the orders, and the Imperial ships moved back to a respectful distance. Morrison watched the alien ships retreat and felt satisfied. The first test was complete. Humanity had demonstrated that it could not be bullied or intimidated. "Amy," he said, "send a message to Earth Command. Tell them that Phase 1 is complete and we are ready to begin Phase 2. "Yes, sir," Amy replied. Message sent. Ryan Bell looked up from his engineering station. "Captain, our power systems are operating at only 20% capacity. We have plenty of reserves if they try anything else." Morrison smiled. The aliens thought they had seen impressive technology. They had no idea what humans were really capable of. The Imperial crew stared at the human ship with new respect and growing fear. If one human vessel could do this, what could an entire human fleet accomplish? Counselor Myrdan made a decision that would change galactic politics forever. He activated his emergency communication system and sent a priority message directly to the Imperial capital. "This is Counselor Myrdan. I am declaring a Code 7 diplomatic emergency. We have encountered a technological superior species. Request immediate consultation with the Empress herself." The Imperial capital received Counselor Myrdan's emergency message within 3 hours. Empress Dalry herself decided to travel to the Kethvar system immediately. She was the supreme ruler of an empire that controlled over 10,000 star systems and had never encountered a species that could challenge Imperial technology. Empress Dalry was a member of the ancient Corvani race. She stood 8 feet tall with golden skin and silver hair that moved like liquid metal. Her species had ruled the galaxy for over 2,000 years through superior technology and military might. "Prepare my flagship," she commanded her military advisors. "I want our best scientists and our most experienced diplomats with me. If these humans are as advanced as Murdan claims, we need to understand them quickly." On the Defiance, Commander Morrison received a priority message from Earth. Admiral Susan Grant's face appeared on the main communication screen. She was a stern woman in her 60s with gray hair and sharp green eyes. "Jake," Admiral Grant said, "Earth Command has been monitoring your progress. You have done excellent work so far. Are you ready for the next phase?" Morrison nodded. "Yes, ma'am. The aliens are clearly impressed by our defensive capabilities. They have called for their highest leader to come here personally. Good. It's time to show them the bigger picture. Activate the communication link to the other ships." Morrison turned to Amy Parker. "Lieutenant, establish contact with Earth Defense Coordinator Turner and the other ship commanders." Within minutes, the bridge of the Defiance was connected to Earth's command center and 5 other human ships positioned throughout Imperial space. Colonel Matt Brooks appeared on one screen, representing Earth's Military Intelligence Division. "Gentlemen," Admiral Grant said to all the ship commanders, "begin Phase 2. It's time to reveal our true presence in this galaxy." Counselor Merdan waited nervously on the bridge of the Imperial flagship. The human ship had remained peaceful, but unmoving for the past 6 hours. He wondered what they were planning. "Sir," Admiral Zethran reported, "long-range sensors detect multiple ships approaching the system. The Empress's fleet will arrive in 2 hours." "Good," Merdan replied. "Perhaps she can make sense of this situation." Suddenly, every Imperial sensor in the system began screaming alarms. Science Director Coleman ran to her instruments with panic in her large eyes. "Counselor," she called out, "I am detecting massive energy signatures throughout Imperial space. Something is happening on a galactic scale." Morrison stood calmly on the Defiance's bridge as reports came in from across the galaxy. "Amy, open a channel to the Imperial flagship." "Channel open, sir." "Counselor Merdan," Morrison said, "we believe it is time for complete honesty between our species. There is something important you need to know about humanity's presence in this galaxy." Merdan activated his communication system immediately. "Commander Morrison, what are you talking about?" "Sir, the UES Defiance is not alone. We are one of 12 human ships currently positioned throughout Imperial space. We have been observing your civilization from multiple locations for many years." The bridge of the Imperial flagship fell completely silent. Every alien stared at the communication console in shock. 12 ships?" Merdan asked with a shaking voice. "Yes, sir. And we are not warships, as you might think. We are exploration and diplomatic vessels. Humanity's actual military fleet is much larger and remains near Earth space. Professor Kevin Stone worked at his science station coordinating with the other human ships. Captain, all vessels are reporting successful deployment of observation drones. We now have real-time intelligence on Imperial fleet movements throughout their space." Morrison nodded. "Excellent work, Professor." Admiral Zethran turned to Counselor Merdan with fear in his 4 eyes. "Sir, if they have 12 ships watching us, they know everything about our military capabilities and weaknesses." "Commander Morrison," Merdan said into the communicator, "how long have your ships been in our space?" "The first human vessel entered Imperial territory 47 years ago," Morrison replied calmly. "We have been gradually increasing our observation network ever since. We know the locations of your major military bases, your trade routes, your diplomatic procedures, and your technological capabilities." Science Director Coleman grabbed Merdan's arm. "Sir, this means they have been watching us for almost half a century. They know more about our empire than some of our own officials." Colonel Matt Brooks appeared on Morrison's communication screen from Earth. "Captain, permission to brief the aliens on our intelligence gathering methods?" Morrison looked thoughtful for a moment. "Permission granted, Colonel." Morrison opened the channel to the Imperial ship again. "Counselor, I am going to transfer you to one of our intelligence specialists. He will explain how we have been able to observe your civilization without detection." Colonel Brooks took over the communication. Counselor Merdan, this is Colonel Matt Brooks of Earth Intelligence. Over the past 50 years, humanity has recovered and studied numerous pieces of Imperial technology that have crashed on or near Earth. Impossible, Merdan replied. We do not have any ships in your area of space. Sir, you have had probe, ships and automated scouts pass through Earth's solar system many times. Some of them suffered mechanical failures and crashed on various planets and moons. We collected these wrecks and reverse-engineered their technology. Brooks continued his explanation. Human scientists used Imperial technology as a starting point to develop our own systems. We improved upon your designs and created new technologies that your sensors cannot detect. Admiral Zethran felt sick to his stomach. Imperial probe ships were supposed to be undetectable and self-destructing if damaged. The idea that primitive aliens had been collecting and studying them was terrifying. Colonel Brooks, Merdan asked, what does humanity want from the Empire? We want peaceful coexistence and mutual respect, Brooks replied. Humanity does not wish to conquer or destroy the Empire. We simply want to be treated as equals in galactic affairs. Empress Dalry's flagship dropped out of hyperspace at the edge of the HFY system. She brought with her 20 of the Empire's most powerful warships and the greatest military minds in Imperial history. Your Majesty, her communications officer reported, we are receiving a message from the human vessel. They are requesting immediate diplomatic contact with you personally. Empress Dalry studied the tactical display showing the positions of all ships in the system. Her military advisors had briefed her on the situation during the journey, but seeing it firsthand was different. Open a channel, she commanded. Morrison's voice came through clearly. Your Imperial Majesty, this is Commander Jake Morrison representing the United Earth Space Force. We are honored by your presence and request a formal diplomatic meeting. The Empress was surprised by the respectful tone and perfect Imperial protocol. Commander Morrison, I understand your species has been observing my empire for many years without permission. Yes, Your Majesty, we apologize for the deception. But humanity needed to understand galactic civilization before revealing ourselves. We have learned that the galaxy can be a dangerous place for unprepared species. Empress Dalry thought about the many species that had been conquered or destroyed when they first encountered Imperial forces. The humans had been wise to prepare carefully. Commander, she said, what assurance do I have that humanity is not planning to attack the Empire? Morrison smiled, though she could not see it. Your Majesty, if humanity wanted to attack the Empire, we would not have announced our presence with a single ship. We would have struck without warning from multiple locations simultaneously. The simple logic of this statement sent a chill through every alien on the Empress's flagship. The humans were right. If they had hostile intentions, revealing themselves made no sense. Furthermore, Morrison continued, humanity offers to share some of our technological advances with the Empire in exchange for peaceful relations and equal representation in galactic government. Empress Dalry realized that everything had changed. The Empire was no longer the supreme technological power in the galaxy. She faced a choice between war with an unknown enemy or partnership with a potential ally. Commander Morrison, she said after a long pause, I believe we have much to discuss. Empress Dalry arranged for diplomatic talks to begin immediately aboard her flagship. She invited Commander Morrison to meet in person, but he politely declined and suggested a neutral location instead. Your Majesty, Morrison said over the YI communication system. We propose holding our meeting aboard a neutral station. We have prepared a diplomatic facility that can accommodate both human and Imperial representatives safely. Within 2 hours, a strange new structure appeared in space between the human and Imperial fleets. It looked like a small space station, but no one had seen it arrive. Where did that come from? Admiral Zethran asked his sensor operator. Sir, it just appeared. No energy signatures, no movement detected. It was simply not there one moment, and there the next. Morrison smiled as he watched the alien ship scan the diplomatic station. Amy, contact Earth Command. Tell them the meeting facility is ready. Secretary of State Helen Price appeared on the communication screen from Earth. She was an elegant woman in her 50s with silver hair and a calm manner, that made people trust her immediately. "Commander Morrison," she said, "I will be handling the negotiations from Earth. General Nick Turner will represent our military interests. Are you ready to escort our diplomatic team?" "Ready when you are, Madam Secretary." Within minutes, a small human shuttle departed from the Defiance and docked with the diplomatic station. To the aliens watching, it seemed like the shuttle had simply materialized from empty space. Empress Dalry boarded her own shuttle with Counselor Merdan and her top advisors. As they approached the human station, she wondered what other surprises humanity had prepared. The inside of the diplomatic station impressed everyone. The rooms were elegant but simple, with comfortable seating for both human and alien body types. The air was clean and the lighting was perfect for all species present. Morrison greeted the Empress personally as she entered the main conference room. He was wearing a formal Earth military uniform that looked both professional and non-threatening. "Your Imperial Majesty," he said with a respectful bow. "Welcome aboard. I am honored to meet you in person." Empress Dalry studied the human commander carefully. He was smaller than she had expected, but carried himself with quiet confidence. His eyes showed intelligence and determination. "Commander Morrison," she replied, "I admit that humanity has surprised me. Your species has shown remarkable patience and planning." Secretary Price joined the meeting through a holographic projection that was so realistic the aliens could barely tell it was not a real person. "Your Majesty," Price said, "I am Helen Price, representing the United Earth Government. We are grateful for this opportunity to establish formal relations between our peoples." The Empress took her seat at the conference table. "Secretary Price, I must ask directly, what does humanity truly want from this galaxy?" Price smiled warmly. "We want what every intelligent species wants, Your Majesty. Safety for our people, freedom to explore and trade, and the right to exist as equals among the galactic community." Counselor Meriden leaned forward. "But you already have superior technology. Why do you need anything from us?" General Nick Turner appeared on another holographic display. He was a tough-looking man with gray hair and scars on his face from old battles. "Counselor," Turner said, "technology is not everything. The galaxy is vast and contains many different species with unique knowledge and cultures. Humanity believes that cooperation is better than conquest." Empress Dalry appreciated the honest answer. "General Turner, what assurance can you give me that humanity will not use its advantages to take over Imperial territory?" Turner's expression became serious. "Your Majesty, Earth's policy is simple. We will never attack first, but we will defend ourselves completely. We prefer trade and friendship to war and destruction." Morrison activated a holographic display showing star maps of the galaxy. "Your Majesty, humanity proposes a mutual defense and technology sharing agreement. We will share selected technologies with the Empire in exchange for equal representation in galactic government." The star map showed the positions of all 12 human ships throughout Imperial space. Red dots appeared on the map, showing the locations of major Imperial military bases and fleets. "As you can see," Morrison continued, "we already know the positions of your major military assets. If we wanted to attack, we could have done so at any time during the past 50 years. Science Director Colnan stared at the display in amazement. "They know everything," she whispered to the Empress. "Every base, every fleet, every trade route." Empress Dalry realized that the Empire had no choice but to negotiate. Fighting humanity would be suicide, especially when the humans clearly preferred peace. "What specific technologies are you willing to share?" she asked. Secretary Price gestured to another display. "We offer improved medical technology, advanced materials science, and enhanced communication systems. In return, we ask for access to Imperial trade networks and representation in galactic government." The negotiations continued for 6 hours. Both sides discussed trade agreements, territorial boundaries, and military cooperation. Humanity's representatives were always reasonable but firm about their requirements. "Your Majesty," Price said, during a break in the talks, "I want you to understand something important. Earth has been preparing for this day for over 50 years. We are not asking for charity or protection. We are offering partnership between equals." Ambassador Lisa Chen appeared on a new holographic display. She was a young woman with kind eyes and a gentle voice that somehow commanded respect. "Your Majesty," Chen said, "I have been chosen to serve as humanity's first galactic ambassador. I hope we can work together to build a better future for all species." Empress Dalry made her decision. The Empire could fight a war it might lose, or it could gain a powerful ally with amazing technology. "Secretary Price," she said formally, "the Galactic Empire accepts humanity's proposal for partnership. We welcome Earth as an equal member of the galactic community." Morrison felt a surge of pride and relief. 50 years of careful planning and preparation had finally paid off. "Amy," he said to his communications officer, "send the signal to all human ships. Phase 3 is complete." Across the galaxy, 11 other human ships received the message and began broadcasting to nearby Imperial forces. Each ship identified itself and requested peaceful contact with local officials. Within hours, news of humanity's existence spread throughout Imperial space. Citizens of dozens of species learned that a new player had joined galactic politics. The final ceremony took place aboard the diplomatic station 3 days later. Representatives from major Imperial worlds gathered to witness the signing of the Earth Empire Cooperation Treaty. Empress Dalry and Secretary Price signed the historic document, while cameras recorded the moment for history. "Today," the Empress announced, "the galaxy welcomes its newest member. May humanity and the Empire prosper together in peace." Commander Morrison watched the ceremony with satisfaction. Earth had achieved everything it had hoped for. Humanity was now an equal partner in galactic civilization, not a conquered territory or a protected species. As the diplomatic station prepared to depart, Morrison received one final message from Admiral Grant on Earth. "Congratulations, Jake," she said. "You and your crew have made history. Earth is proud of you." Morrison looked out at the stars and smiled. The galaxy had just become a much more interesting place. The UES Defiance slowly moved away from the Imperial fleet, no longer a mysterious intruder but a welcome ally. Behind them, the other human ships throughout the galaxy began their new missions as diplomatic vessels and exploration ships. Humanity had finally taken its place among the stars, not through conquest or luck, but through patience, intelligence, and careful preparation. The galaxy would never be the same again.